Jelcha taking on Seleman Barega, plus others, Cheptegei in there as well, Chalimo from the United States, Gebriwet, Balu, talent everywhere here. Good fast pace being asked for. Bram Song's going to try and get them to 2,000 meters. I'm not sure how that's going to work for him. There's Kajelcha. What an indoor season he had over the shorter distances. You know, the mile, 3:47 indoors. It's remarkable, isn't it? Barega, his last race was actually at the World Cross Country Championships. So he hasn't raced outdoors on the track yet this year. He was 5th in that race. And then Cheptegei, well, we know what a great championships it was for the Ugandans in Aarhus. Again, what can he do on the track here? Paul Chalimo, Olympic world medalist, Gebriwet there. Balu will be a danger as well. So the big men are on the outside lanes, if you like, but depending on how the pace goes, one or two others might fancy the chances as well, but you can't really see past Kajelcha in particular. Yeto, also running the World Cross. Just really interesting. The pace, as I said, that's been asked for is 12:55 pace, sub 13 minutes, assuming they keep it going beyond the 3K. Som has been asked to go to 2, then Kiplagat will try and take it on to 3K. But let's just see how that all pans out. So men's 5,000 meters, there's Barega. Both of them such good finishers as well. Of course, Kajelcha now based in the US. Very different approaches, although they're both from the same country. Almost looked like a false start from Bram Song, but he got away nice and sharply off the line. And you saw that meeting record there, just under 13 minutes. So if they do get good pace, I suspect they'll set off a decent pace. It's just how much it slips in the middle, and then when the race really gets going in the last 1,000, or whether Kajelcha is just going to be happy to use his speed, use his kick, which we know he can do to very, very good effect. So tall Ethiopian just settling down as Som takes them through the first 200 in just outside. So 7 men in with a decent chance. Cheptegei trying to hang in there at the back of this group as they start to motor. Gebriwet trying to hold the curb with Kajelcha making his big move around the outside. Barega trying to follow. Balu on the inside. And Gebriwet has to give way. Barega's giving chase, trying to hang on to the long stride of Kajelcha. 200 meters to go. A little look on his inside. The danger is still there. The two big men pulling away. Has Barega got enough to try and haul him in? Kajelcha flat out now. Into the home straight, just 1.5 meters between them. Barega trying to attack on the outside. Balu finishing quickly for 3rd, but Kajelcha starts to pull away. Kajelcha's going to take the win. Kajelcha wins. Barega 2nd. Gebriwet came back for 3rd, just I think in the end. A world-leading time of 13 minutes and 4. A few seconds, half a dozen seconds quicker than.
Rise into the 30s here in Rome, so they've chosen a good one, these fellas.
12.5 laps of the track as usual, men's 5,000. The two pacemakers, as I was saying, looking for 62-second laps there about Hispashir and Letting. And then others will have to make their mind up whether they're going to go with it or not, because otherwise the danger is it'll break up. There's enough men in this to get a bit of a train going, if you like, even if you're a little bit further down the field running, say, 13:10 pace, you should be able to still have people to work with and work off. So let's just see how they settle down. It's pretty swift first 200, nothing crazy, around 29.5. 400 meters to go. Gebriwet starting to move up on the outside, and Bekele just making the first little strike. Tries to cover for Gebriwet. Barega also moving. Balu got left a little bit there. And Zakayo still not too far away, and I tell you that World Junior man, sorry, he's been drifted off, but the others can kick. Balu's always a danger. Bekele then, striding out down the back straight. Gebriwet there, Barega, now these three just pulling ahead of Hadis and Balu and Ahmed. 200 meters left. One more effort from Bekele. Knows he's got to try and break the pace of Barega, but there he is. He starts to unleash it round that top bend. Gebriwet not giving it up, but he just doesn't have the legs that Barega has. He doesn't have the turn of pace, the speed, but Bekele maybe has. Barega then trying to shut him out on the inside, managing just to get 1.5 meters, but Bekele hasn't given it up. He's trying to come back to him. It's going to be so tight. Has he got room? Yes, he has! Bekele comes through with a storming finish. 12:53, what a performance from him. Others with good times. Butchart coming in quickly. Cripper of Italy finishing fast as well. Ingebrigtsen fading a little bit. Around 13:10 for those in this second group. But what about that finish? Barrega's always seems to have the sprint finish, Tim, but for once there, Bekele. We've seen him beaten by Kejelcha. Now, though, beaten by Bekele.
Steve, I can hardly believe it. This generation of athletes, unbelievable. 12:52, a final lap of 54.7. Boy, oh boy. And this lad is 20 years old. That's a personal best for him by over 10 seconds. Tealahun Haile Bekele. Well, as if the name wasn't famous enough already. Of course, there's still a Bekele name beside those world record figures. But such is the talent of this fella, who knows? It might be a different kind of Bekele by the end of this summer. Not quite sure what the elbow thing is going on there. Doesn't matter, does it? Let his legs do the
Straight there, you can see the 17 athletes gathered. There are 2 pacemakers in there. Paul Robinson of Ireland, tasked with going to 1500 and around 3:45, 3:46. So yes, that is 60-second pace, therefore 7.5 minutes. 7 minutes 30 is the target time. The other pacemaker is Kangogo. Barrega in very good form. Said he wants the world record for 5,000 meters. He was second in Shanghai in 13:04 and then second in Rome last week with 12:53 over 5,000. Henrik Ingebrigtsen, one of the great trio of Norwegian brothers. Listen to that roar. Wants the Norwegian record. That Norwegian record goes back to Marius Bakken in 2001. There is Ben True, very consistent, strong American, ran 13:09 in Rome last week. Cheptegei, the world cross-country champion. Watch him. His form is getting better all the time. A fabulous win with those world cross-country championships in Denmark in Aarhus a couple of months back. Such a loaded field. Absolutely rammed with athletes in very good form. That's what's significant about this one. So we'll describe more of those athletes for you now that they are underway. Andy Butchart is in this one too. The Rio Olympic finalist, was eighth at the last Olympic Games and then ran his second fastest time ever last week in Rome when he finished down the field admittedly, but in a very quick 13:09. So away they go. Robinson has got to judge this right. We need to be moving at around 60-second per lap pace. The second pacemaker, Kangogo, slotted in there behind him in the orange vest. And they do go through indeed in around 30 seconds. Cheptegei moving up into third place. The Ugandan, Steve, I sense, will be a real danger here to the Ethiopians if they don't pay him close attention, because I think he's got something to prove, really, on top of what has been a wonderful winter.
Yeah, I just wonder if everything's been okay in his camp. So watching this at the front, and Barrega starts to unleash his sprint, but Ingebrigtsen is heading for a Norwegian record and maybe even a top 3 finish, certainly top 4. Who's going to win this, though? Barrega's now got it.
150 metres to run, and Barrega 2 metres clear. Cheptegei feared this. He's got great strength, we know that. A good 10,000 metre runner, but doesn't have the finishing speed of Barrega, who now starts pumping hard. And with every stride is easing away from the Ugandan. Is Barrega going to win this from Cheptegei? Coming through strongly for third place. Brilliant run that too, as well, from Kimeli and Ingebrigtsen there. 7:37 smashes the Norwegian record by some 3 seconds there. Stewie McSwain, well, he didn't get that Oz record of Buster Mottram from all those years ago, but it's a very solid run from Stewie McSwain. I don't think the early pacemaking was great. It didn't really get them on track. It was nowhere near. Indeed, it was outside 61 seconds per lap. But Barrega there has enjoyed that. His winning time, 7:32.2. A lot of the hard running in the last couple of laps, Steve. The second half, much quicker than the first.
Yeah, I think that was pretty well constructed in the sense that it was slower, but it wasn't super slow. I mean, you know, they're not going to run sub 7:30, I don't think, at this point. I think 7:32 is a cracking performance. Another great race from Barrega. Cheptegei did everything that he could do. He's not going to run the finish out of Barrega. He just has that ability to accelerate. But goodness me, did this place come alive as Ingebrigtsen in the last 600 got quicker and quicker and quicker. Kameli's had a great week, but look at that new national record for Ingebrigtsen. He's been conducting the crowd here in the home straight. What a way to get this meeting really to come alive.
So the East Africans dominating again, 1, 2, 3, but brilliant run there for Ingebrigtsen. I said 7:37, 7:36. That is some improvement by the 28-year-old. His previous best, 7:42. He's just locked some 6 seconds off his best. And Selimon Barega, only 5th in the World Championships back in 2017, but he was 17 in London for those championships. He's still only 19, apparently. Good times, fastest time in the world this year, 7:32. Can you believe?
Well, this is anything likely to be but poor. The men's 5,000 metres. What a field we have here. We have the top 6 in the world here. We have 10 of the top 12 in the world here. We have the numbers 4, 5 and 7 all time over 5,000 metres here. Gebriwet, well, he's certainly one of the favourites, the Rio Olympic bronze medalist. He's broken 13 minutes 8 times. I tell you that there are 15 men here who have broken 13 minutes and understand the calibre of this field. The East Africans are out in enormous force. People are even asking if this is the Ethiopian, unofficial Ethiopian trial. Cheptegei, world cross-country champion and very impressive winner of that 2 miles in California last Sunday. Edris, the world champion, we've rocked past him. We didn't even bother to stop at him. He's only world champion from London 2017, beating Mo Farah. Kidanu, Richard Ringer, better known perhaps as a 10,000 metre runner, the German. He'll have to run a big personal best here to live with them. They're going out, we understand, at 12:55 pace. That's around 2:45, 2:35 per kilometre. Barega, a little slow off his mark. They're the 4th fastest man in history. Holds the world junior record. He set that in Brussels last year when he won. That personal best of 12:43.02. If you look at the all-time list, only Bekele and Gebrselassie and Daniel Komen are ahead of him, and they're all from a bygone era, frankly. So, we're looking for a lap here of around 62 seconds, because that's what they need to be clicking around at, although rather bizarre. Couldn't breathe properly when he ran so badly in the Prefontaine meeting, but Gebriwet now coming to the bell. He's got 20 metres.
Oh no!
Oh, he thought he'd reached the bell. He thought he'd reached the finish line. He's got a lap to go. I don't believe it. A man of his experience. He thought, I'll tell you what, he confused me, Steve, when he stopped. But no,
Tim,
how can he sprint on now?
He was sprinting so hard down this home straight, I was thinking, how on earth is he doing that? And then all of a sudden he stopped. So, Kajelcha now in front.
How ironic, Kajelcha last year didn't finish when there was a tangle with the shorts of another Ethiopian colleague with 100 metres to go. He fell to the ground and didn't finish the race. 1 year on to the day, by the way, here in Lausanne. Kajelcha has been handed the race on a plate. Pity Gebriwet, there he is, right a picture, jogging around the final bend. He's back in 6th place now. He'll do well to finish in that position. As Kajelcha now strides home, he's going to finish, I think, a click under 13 minutes. But he's been closed down by Barega. What an untidy race. What an enormous shame. Just outside 13 minutes. Barega second, the rest of them come through. But an anti-climax last lap and a half there because of a spectacular misjudgment by Gebriwet. Possibly the most experienced man in the race too. He's the silver medalist at the World Championships in 2013 in Moscow. He's the Rio bronze medalist. He's been around the block, this fella, Gebriwet, and he should be able to count to 12 and a half laps. But Kajelcha there, well, he's all a smile. It's hardly surprising. A season's best for Yomit Kajelcha. And turned the race, Steve, into not a farce, but a disappointment.
Do you remember, was it the London Diamond League where one of the Ethiopian women down the back straight misjudged it by half a lap? She kicked and thought she'd won with 200 to go, which was even more bizarre because the finish line is always in the same place. But I agree with you, somebody of this guy's experience completely miscalculating. And he must have thought, when he was looking around, thinking, how am I moving away so much from everybody else?
When he had 600 to go, I thought, shifting a bit when he's got a lap and a half to go.
Now watch this here.
Zero.
Arms up. Thank you very much. I mean, that is one of the greatest penultimate laps ever run in a race. I'd like to know what it was.
To Kajelcha for not stopping as well and being fooled into stopping too.
Do you know what the lap was, Tim?
Who? The penultimate lap?
54.5.
Oh dear, what was he going to do? Run 148 for the last 800?
Wow.
We should have realised actually, because it was so vicious, that kick from 700 out. He thought 300 out. Barega, surprisingly subdued there. back in second place, but it upset all of them, their rhythm of that last couple of laps, didn't it?
I think Barega and Cheptegei can be excused. They looked a little tired, didn't they, Kajalcha? It's on the far side of the track, the men's 5,000 metres. Always a highlight here. Seleman Barega, Ethiopia with a multitude of talent in all distance races, but particularly in this one at the moment. Barega and Kajalcha, US-based Ethiopian now, of course, and he will have enjoyed watching Stefan Hassan win the 1500 earlier on. The two of them in the same training group. Paul Chilimo, the American. Actually, Kajalcha and Chilimo were in that great race with Mo Farah here 2 years ago, when either of those two thought they might win. Gebriwet, watch out for him. They're just going past him, not quite sure why, because he might even be the pre-race favourite. Henrik Ingebrigtsen. What about Joshua Cheptegei, in great form this year? Surely he's got a great chance going to the World Championships. Andy Butchart, personal best 13:06, the Brit. And then what about McSwain? Stuart McSwain, the Australian, in the form of his life across the gamut of distances from 1500 up to 5,000 metres. So Barega, world indoor silver medalist, he's still only 19, hard to believe, isn't it? Seems to have been around ages. Kajalcha himself, only 22, 12.5 laps of the track, and they haven't asked for anything too silly, which I think is good. Not all of these men here will contest the 5,000 metres at the World Championships by any stretch of the imagination, but for tonight, it's the Diamond League trophy that counts, and a bit of pride and a bit of confidence building, certainly. So they'll settle down. Ryan Gregson, not often you see him, the Australian, doing a bit of pacemaking. 1500 metre specialist, of course. Let's see how he gets on. The field already nicely strung out. Kajalcha follows, and they will start to reel him in, but do they have time? Can Cheptegei hang on? They're moving quicker than he is. Kajalcha struggling there, but those long legs of his hanging on to Barega and Gebriwet, and they're closing fast. Cheptegei is still going well. It's 15 metres now, maybe 12 metres. And Barega, with Gebriwet following, gritted teeth. Kajalcha's got no chance. Cheptegei hurting. Can he raise his game? The crowd want him to win this. He will deserve it. Gebriwet chasing hard, but Cheptegei's found something else. He goes away again. Cheptegei hanging on for the victory. What a great run. It's going to be under 13 minutes. Cheptegei wins. Gebriwet second, and then a big sprint. Bekele just getting out-kicked by Kameli for the next place. Kajalcha completely out of it. Well done, Cheptegei. He deserved it. He committed himself. Silly games being played in the early laps by Kajalcha and Gebriwet and Barega, all looking at each other. Well, while they did that, Cheptegei got on with business, went on and won it in a new personal best. Stefan Hassan must be saying to Yomif Kajalcha, what were you doing there? What went on? Why did you let such a good runner get away in such a manner?
Wasn't that absolutely brilliant from the Ugandan? A personal best. He grabbed the bull by the horns and wrestled it into submission, that entire field. Stephen, here is the key. He might have been slowing on that final lap compared with the rest of them, but I got his last 1200 at 3:01. 3:01.4. He was not slow through the final laps. They never got back to him. They never really got back within that range where psychologically they felt he was catchable. Very nearly. Maybe another couple hundred metres they'd have got there. But Cheptegei judged it absolutely perfectly. His last lap, 59.41. I'm sure that Gebriwet running his last lap in about 55, but oh, all too late.
Good run, though. Good race.
Oh, brilliant when you're being chased down like that.
And, you know, I just wonder what the tactics were there for the others. You know that the race is going to be running around about 13-minute pace, but to sit so far off, and yes, maybe it was, okay, let's test our speed in the last 1,000 metres as we head to a World Championships, but you want to come and win the race. You don't want to be caught out in that way. And Cheptegei is going to be in Doha, is going to be a massive threat. He's shown he can hang out there in front and win.
Didn't he enjoy it too?
Well, the Ugandan has he trains in Kenya as well. He obviously is in such good form, that new personal best. The hard way as well, he ran the last 4 or 5 laps completely on his own. Gebriwet got second, Kameli, Bekele, Barega, Kajalcha are all racing for the minor placings. Gebriwet a little bit clear of the rest. Good race.
You have to have sympathy with the man who goes out in front and takes on the pace. Why do they let him build such a long lead?